Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm George. For those of you guys that are just returning, we're continuing on with the RS3 build. For those of you guys that are just getting here for the first time, I'm George. This is Malaka MotorSports. Me and my brother run this channel, and what we do is pretty much break cars, developing, racing, figuring stuff out, and learning, challenging ourselves to do the next best thing. And today's going to be no different, as we're going to be yanking and removing a lot of this old, nasty, yellowish plastic. This is a brake reservoir in my Audi RS3 that's just got to go. We'll pretend I made that. That sounded like a swoosh. So we already teased a little bit. We have the brake reservoir already fabbed. We're going to show you a time lapse. You can kind of check it out how I did it. And we're going to showcase the modification of where that giant yellow plastic reservoir went that I obviously got into the trash. It made it in. It didn't bounce underneath the car or anything like that. But there's a master cylinder that's behind that intake pipe, and we'll showcase that in the video too, of what modifications we've done to that. And we're going to be adding a Tial 50mm blow-off valve to the car to finish off the intercooler piping once and for all, including one more 3-inch vibrant joint that's all the way towards the bottom, and you'll see that as this video progresses. So moving on. So we did notice about 80 to 85% of our viewers are not subscribed. So again, consider subscribing and liking this video. It does go a long way in notifying YouTube and letting them know that this channel needs more fluid traffic, and we do appreciate the support. That being said, guys, I'm going to kick this video off and push us one step closer to getting this thing fired up, which should be in the next few weeks. After this, I'll just finish the downpipe, and that's the last bit of fab that I'm going to be doing for a while on this car. Next is going to be wire up, and we're going to be using the stock motor to fire this car up for the very first time. Beyond, like I mentioned in the last video, beyond excited to make blasphemous Wookiee noises with our custom VR6 swap in my Audi RS3. And that's it. Let's kick off this video with a little bit of time lapse so you guys can see what we've been busy making. The joint is now added in the middle. I added the flange for the blow-off valve on top for the Tial 50mm blow-off valve. Again, excuse the mess. I'm going to kind of go through everything as I kind of get into tornado mode and then just do. As you can see, a lot of little mistakes. Parts of this is when I first started TIG welding aluminum, and then you'll see as the beads start getting a little bit more uniform as the weeks progressed and I got more comfortable. Down the line, I'm going to remake this. I'll order the material again, and I'll build a small little jig for it so I can do it again. But right now we got it together. Let's get it on the car along with the newly fabbed, as you guys just saw in the time-lapse, brake reservoir and the fittings that we added to the master cylinder there. And basically the highest portion right here, this highest port is going to feed right here, just gravity fed. The lower portion of the can is going to feed the lowest port of the master cylinder. So there were some concerns that people had brought up. I got a few messages. Hey, why'd you put so much heat through it? I wouldn't trust it. We'll tell you that. So far, it builds brake pressure when we add a little bit of fluid in there. But here's the thing. We completely took apart the master cylinder, the O-rings, the seals, anything that moves on the inside, and just left the raw aluminum body. I'll put a screenshot up to show you guys what it looked like before we welded it. Nothing seemed to have warped. It installed, reassembled really perfectly, just like it did before, like it was OEM. And this is going to give us the availability to have a small reservoir up in the driver's side as opposed to the big giant yellow plastic OEM looking piece. And now this is going to allow for the giant 6-inch intake, or turbo inlet as you call it, for the MMS 1450. So that's going to give us a lot more clearance. I haven't built the lines yet. We're going to do that probably in the next week or so when we do all the lines for the entire engine, when we do the coolant lines, when we do the oil lines. Again, everything's going to be AN just to ensure we're good with the type of level we're looking to build this car at. So we have the reservoir built in, which is pretty awesome. I mounted it to the chassis. I'm going to build one more bracket here to mount to the side of the fuse box just to give it a little bit more stability. AN fittings are on top of the brake res. I modified the intake or slash the turbo piping, added the Tial blow-off valve. So let's install this and let's see what it looks like in the bay without the intake in, and then we'll go from there. So intercooler piping back on. Now we have the Tial 50mm blow-off valve, which is as close as possible to the throttle body as we can put it, literally about, I'd say about 1.5 inches away, which is great. Again, we have the reservoir, brake reservoir, modified braid housing slash modified master cylinder. Now to accept an AN fitting, which we're going to make 2 lines to feed it. And again, if you guys want to see it, this thing unscrews. Ordered a lot of these caps and parts off of Amazon. So the cap, the base for the cap came in. The base was actually originally a catch can that Stomp just had kind of sitting around, that I modified, welded the bottom, welded the top of the cap, and then welded the actual removable cap fitting to it. And it screws on, has an O-ring underneath, so keep it nice and sealed. And this will ensure now no brake fluid is spilling, having any issues. It's going to directly feed AN to the master cylinder, and I'll upgrade and update you guys as I go if we have any issues with this. Because right now, again, I'll tell you this, being so new to fabricating, being so new to doing a lot of this stuff, we're going to find issues. We're going to find things that we're going to have to overcome, such as obstacles, things that we didn't foresee. Again, we're not a pro race shop. We're working out of a home garage doing some really cool things, if I may say so myself. So we're gonna find some things. We're gonna realize we should have done things a little bit better when it comes to the design of the piping. Maybe I'll do a conventional intercooler if I'm able to wrap the piping all the way around. I don't know. Right now this feels right, and we'll update as we progress. The car will evolve as we learn and become better. Same goes for the wiring and the tuning. I hope to one day be able to tune these cars on our own to, again, break away our reliance from outside shops and having to wait on people's schedules. If we're able to maintain these vehicles, build them, tune them, then we really don't need anyone else when it comes to going fast, being at a live event, and kind of doing things on our own, which is the ultimate goal, right? So we're climbing this ladder. We're learning as we progress. 1 step forward, what do they say, 15 steps back. But we're getting there, guys. Let's assemble the bay real quick, just to throw the pipe in so you guys can see the clearance between the new res and that. All right, I'm going to leave the front bumper off, just so it doesn't make any sense putting it back on right now. So the intake box is installed. You can get a peek of the blow-off valve that sits underneath the integrated engineering carbon box. Again, the carbon intake is probably thinking, like, holy shit, how did I survive this craziness? Where it's pretty much the only original piece from the last build when we had the 5-cylinder car that survived into this iteration of my RS3 with the VR6. So it's kind of cool that we're able to retain this, keep this, rock it, showcase this kind of OEM kind of style intake that you can still rock on your 5-cylinder, which we're going to modify a little bit. I may even, like I said, I hinted at making an aluminum version of this. So confidence-wise, I don't think I'm right there yet, but I do definitely have some concepts and ideas, and I've been bothering the guys at IE for some kind of concepts. I got some ideas. We'll see what happens with this intake, but I love this design. I love the fact that it fills the engine bay really nice, and we haven't even run any of the oil or coolant or fuel lines, so there's a lot of empty spaces. You'll see the catch can's going to go here. You'll have some wiring. Coolant lines are going to be running on the side of this. They're going to be kind of cleaning this up and kind of filling these voids, but it's kind of cool that you can still see that Tial 50mm blow-off valve right there. Again, the brake reservoir, and if you guys want to see from the back view, the lines will run parallel with the intake and then plug right into the master cylinder. So I think I'm going to do some nice silver lines, stainless steel braided with silver fittings to kind of go down that way, and I think it's going to look good. Other than that, the coolant bottle and the fuse box are the only thing that is still silver. I may even think about making an aluminum radiator mount support to kind of clean up and motorsport up this engine bay a little bit. But definitely going to make my own coolant bottle later on down the line once we get the car rolling. We'll leave that just for simplicity's sake, that it's just there and it works. But the last kind of bits that I still have to do is the downpipe, which is the last 1.5 feet to go down to go to the actual exhaust system. And then the catch can. And then fabrication is pretty much done, which is fucking nuts, guys. It's nuts how we started 3 or 4 months ago with nothing, and now we have an entire engine bay full of fabricated parts right here in this home garage. So, yeah. Catch can will leave once we get it fired up. So right now, the last thing that I'm going to fabricate and finish fabricating is the downpipe. So the downpipe is pretty much going just under the manifold, and it stops right there. I'm going to get the car up on the lift, and then we'll route the rest of the exhaust going back once I install the drive shaft. And then once the exhaust is routed, and I know that's done, we can start yanking everything out, yanking the motor out, doing all the seals, making sure we have, you know, proper O-rings, seals, gasket maker if we have to do it, seal up the oil pan, make sure the pump looks good. And we'll use this stock VR6 as the first startup in the RS3 and get her rolling on the stock motor while we're getting the built motor machined, and then we're waiting for it to come back so we can get it built. So guys, I don't know, I'm speechless. And I appreciate all the support you guys have shown thus far. I know this is different. I know this is not like anyone else. I know you guys, and a lot of you guys have messaged us saying, hey, listen, we would have never bought the RS3 if it wasn't for you guys. We've convinced you guys go with the RS3, the TTRS. I hope you guys still can continue to enjoy your cars. There's nothing wrong with your engines or your setups. Again, having your own car and doing whatever you want with it is pretty much the way it's supposed to be, right? You should be able to do whatever the hell you want with your car. So for those of you guys that have followed us and followed in our footsteps of what we've done with the RS3, with the companies we work with, please continue having fun. This is just the next stage for us, for me, as I learn, as Stav learns, you know, and we progress as becoming, you know, better car people, more knowledgeable, learn more skills with the welding, the tuning, hopefully the wire up goes really well. So if this goes really well and we go fast, which I know we will, this is going to open up some pretty cool doors for the next platform we have down the road, and then building our own, you know, fabricating our own parts. So, you know, this just kind of, if we're able to do this and go fast out of a home garage and get a low 8-second, 7-second car here, no shop, didn't have to, you know, do all that craziness here in our home garage, then yeah, I'd be willing to take on a much more complex product, or a more complex chassis with more cylinders and have some fun. So I think that's going to be overall the goal. Anyway, I won't get ahead of myself, as we got the entire year of 2021 to go fast, have some fun, develop this car. I love the 8 vRS3s. You guys know I fell in love with the chassis like I did with the B5. And the B5 is going to get some more attention once the RS3 is pretty much on her feet and rolling. Anyway, without holding you guys up any longer, I appreciate you guys for sticking us with this far, following us through our journey. It's just nuts. Look at the turbo outlet, turbo inlet. Oh man, just the piping. It looks kind of cool. Not too shabby for two idiots in a home garage. I think it looks pretty, you know, pretty cool. But that's about it, guys. I'm going to wrap up this episode. If you guys haven't already, like the video and subscribe. It really helps us. It really tells YouTube about the algorithm and getting these videos out there. But again, we appreciate and we love the support this far. And we wouldn't have gotten this far if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you guys so much for all the support, kind words, the advice. A lot of fabricators from different shops have reached out trying to give me heads up on what to do, especially with Stav's build, my build, and now the RS3. So thank you guys again for the continued support and enthusiasm as we continue to try to push the envelope and piss off the car community and the purists to go fast. Anyway, I'm George. I'm going to wrap up this episode. I will catch you on the next video as we progress with the RS3. And hopefully I'll get Stav to finish up his video as soon as he's ready to wrap up his video. It's like, I got to add this. I'm going to add this. It's coming in 2 days and I'm going to throw it in and I'll make my video. So put in the comments if you'd like to see Stav's video. Tell him to hurry the hell up. Been trying to get him to put out a video for the last 2 weeks. He's like, no, can't put it out till it's ready, till it's perfect. He goes, what happened on the dyno? It's not going to happen to me again. It's got to be perfect. So put in the comments below if you'd like to see Stav's car back on the dyno and making some jam. Get him motivated to finish his video. Otherwise, I'm going to probably just put up a for sale ad pretending to sell it. Anyway, guys, I'm George. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching.